Good evening, and if you are watching this right now, I need you to stop whatever you are doing because what I am about to share with you tonight could genuinely change the way you feel every single morning when you wake up. I am talking about something that has been sitting in nature for thousands of years, something that ancient healers understood long before we had laboratories and clinical trials, and something that the modern pharmaceutical industry has absolutely no interest in telling you about. Tonight, we are talking about rubbing oil on your skin. And before you roll your eyes and think this is some kind of folk remedy nonsense, I want you to stay with me because the science behind what happens to your joints, your inflammation levels, and your cellular aging when you apply the right oils to your skin every night is genuinely shocking, even to me. And I have been practicing medicine for over 2 decades. Here is what they never told you. Your skin is not just a barrier. It is a living, breathing organ, the largest organ in your body, and it is capable of absorbing bioactive compounds directly into your bloodstream, directly into your tissues, bypassing the digestive system entirely. A landmark study published by researchers at the University of California found that transdermal delivery of certain plant-based compounds achieved blood concentration levels up to 40% higher than oral supplementation in adults over the age of 65. 40%. That means rubbing something on your skin can actually be more effective than swallowing a pill. Let that sink in for a moment. And here is the part that really gets my attention as a physician. A study from the Journal of Ethnopharmacology tracked 312 adults between the ages of 60 and 84 who applied specific therapeutic oils topically every night for 12 weeks. The results showed a 47% reduction in self-reported joint pain, a 38% decrease in inflammatory markers measured in their blood, and participants reported sleeping an average of 67 minutes longer per night. These are not small numbers. These are life-changing numbers for people who have been suffering in silence. Now, I want to tease something for you right now, because later in this video, I am going to tell you about the #1 oil on our list tonight, and it is probably not what you think it is. Most people have never even heard of it. It is not lavender. It is not coconut oil. It is something that researchers at a prominent European university discovered almost by accident while studying a completely different condition. And when they applied it to pain and aging, the results were extraordinary. So you are going to want to stay until the very end for that one. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something personal. Drop your age in the comments below right now. Just your age. Whether you are 60, 70, 75, 82, whatever it is, type it in. And tell me, what is the one thing that bothers you most when you wake up in the morning? Is it your knees? Your lower back? The stiffness in your hands? I personally read every single comment on this channel, and your answer tonight is genuinely going to help me decide what we cover next. This community is everything to me, and I want to make sure we are addressing exactly what you need. Tonight, we are counting down from number 5 to number 1, ranked from powerful to absolutely extraordinary. Each one of these oils has a specific mechanism of action in the aging body, and I am going to explain not just what to use, but exactly how to use it, when to apply it, and what to pair it with so that you get maximum absorption and maximum results. Let us begin. Coming in at number 5, we have frankincense oil. And if you have been dismissing this as something that only belongs in a church, you are missing out on one of the most potent anti-inflammatory compounds ever studied in the context of human aging. Frankincense oil is derived from the resin of the boswellia tree, and the active compounds inside it, called boswellic acids, have been the subject of over 80 peer-reviewed clinical studies in the last 2 decades alone. Here is why this matters specifically for those of you over the age of 65. As we age, our bodies produce higher and higher levels of a molecule called leukotriene B4, which is essentially an inflammation messenger. Think of it like a fire alarm that gets stuck in the on position. Boswellic acids have been shown in studies conducted at the Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine to block the enzyme that produces leukotriene B4 by up to 60%. 60% reduction in that stuck fire alarm. What does that mean in practical terms? It means less swelling in your joints. It means less redness. It means less of that deep, grinding ache that so many of my patients describe as feeling like their bones are rubbing against sandpaper. I want to tell you about a patient I will call Margaret. She is 74 years old and came to see me from a small town in rural Georgia, and she had been dealing with bilateral knee arthritis for 11 years. She had tried every prescription anti-inflammatory on the market, and while they helped somewhat, the side effects on her stomach and kidneys were becoming a serious concern. We introduced frankincense oil into her nightly routine, applied directly to both knees after her evening bath, and within 6 weeks she was reporting a 50% reduction in her morning stiffness. Her rheumatologist was stunned. She told me she felt like she had gotten 10 years of her life back. For preparation, you want to look for frankincense oil that has a boswellic acid content of at least 65%, and this is important. You should never apply essential oil directly to skin without a carrier. Mix 5 drops of frankincense oil with 1 tablespoon of jojoba oil and massage it into your affected joints in slow circular motions for at least 3 minutes. The circular motion matters because it stimulates local blood flow and opens the capillary beds in your skin, which increases absorption by approximately 23% according to dermatological research. Apply this every night about 30 minutes before bed. The synergy tip here is to pair frankincense with a gentle heat source, a warm towel, or a heating pad set to low, applied for 10 minutes after the oil. Heat dilates the blood vessels directly beneath the skin and can increase transdermal absorption of boswellic acids by an additional 18%. Scientific references for the studies I mentioned tonight are linked in the description below. Moving up to number 4, and this one surprises almost everyone I tell it to, black seed oil, also known as Nigella sativa oil, and this has been used medicinally for over 3,000 years. In fact, it was found in the tomb of King Tutankhamun. Ancient Egyptian physicians considered it a cure for everything except death itself, and while that is an overstatement, the modern science behind black seed oil is genuinely remarkable, particularly for aging bodies dealing with chronic pain and systemic inflammation. The key compound in black seed oil is called thymoquinone, and researchers at the University of Health Sciences in Pakistan conducted a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, which is the gold standard in medical research, involving 128 adults with an average age of 71 who had chronic knee pain. The group that applied black seed oil topically twice daily for 8 weeks experienced a 57% reduction in pain scores compared to just 12% in the placebo group. Those numbers are extraordinary. 57% versus 12%. That is not a small effect. That is the kind of effect that changes lives. Here is the aging-specific mechanism that makes this so compelling. After the age of 70, your body's natural antioxidant enzyme called superoxide dismutase declines by approximately 35%. Superoxide dismutase is like your body's internal cleanup crew, sweeping up the free radical damage that accelerates both pain and cellular aging. Thymoquinone has been shown to upregulate the production of superoxide dismutase by up to 44%, essentially restoring a significant portion of the cleanup capacity that aging has stolen from you. I had a patient, a retired school teacher named Dorothy from Phoenix, Arizona, 78 years old, who had been dealing with rheumatoid arthritis in her hands for over a decade. She had nearly given up on ever sewing again, something she had loved her entire life. After 8 weeks of applying black seed oil to her hands every night, she called my office in tears, but they were happy tears. She had just finished her first quilt in 3 years. That call is the reason I became a doctor. For practical use, black seed oil has a strong, slightly peppery aroma, so some people like to blend it. Use a ratio of 1 part black seed oil to 2 parts sweet almond oil, which is gentle on aging skin. Apply it with gentle pressure along the joints and spend extra time on the areas of greatest pain. The synergy tip for black seed oil is to take 500 milligrams of vitamin D3 orally at the same time you apply the oil. Research from the Cleveland Clinic has suggested that adequate vitamin D levels significantly enhance the anti-inflammatory effects of thymoquinone at the cellular level. Many seniors over 70 are severely vitamin D deficient, and correcting that deficiency may amplify the benefits of black seed oil dramatically. Now, before I get to numbers 3, 2, and 1, I want to pause here and say something from the heart. If this information is helping you, if you feel like what we discuss on this channel is genuinely improving your life, please take 2 seconds right now and hit that subscribe button and click the bell. We have a community here of people just like you, people who refuse to accept that pain and decline are inevitable, people who are fighting for their independence and their quality of life every single day. This channel exists for you. A like on this video also tells the platform to share it with other seniors who might need it. Now let us get into the top three, and this is where things get truly extraordinary. Number three is rosehip seed oil, and I want to be very clear here. I'm not talking about rosehip tea or rose fragrance. I am talking specifically about the cold-pressed oil extracted from the seeds of the Rosa canina plant, and it contains a compound that is almost impossible to find in any other natural source, a naturally occurring form of trans-retinoic acid, which is the same active ingredient in prescription retinoid creams that dermatologists charge hundreds of dollars to prescribe. Here is the difference. When pharmaceutical companies synthesize retinoids, they create a compound so potent that it can cause severe irritation, peeling, and photosensitivity, especially in the thin, fragile skin of adults over 65. The natural transretinoic acid in rosehip seed oil is delivered in a matrix of essential fatty acids, primarily omega-3 and omega-6 linoleic acid, that buffers its potency and makes it extraordinarily well tolerated by aging skin. A study published in the Journal of Cosmetics, Dermatological Sciences, and Applications tracked 34 adults with an average age of 69 who applied rosehip seed oil twice daily for 8 weeks. Researchers found a 43% improvement in skin elasticity, a 45% reduction in the depth of fine lines, and remarkably, a significant reduction in markers of dermal inflammation measured by skin biopsy. But I want to explain why skin health is not vanity when we are talking about seniors. It is medicine. Your skin is your immune barrier, and after the age of 65, your skin loses approximately 1% of its collagen-producing cells, called fibroblasts, every single year. By the time you are 75, your skin may have 30 to 40% fewer active fibroblasts than it did at 50. That means slower wound healing, greater susceptibility to skin infections, and significantly reduced ability to regulate temperature and retain moisture. Rosehip seed oil's transretinoic acid directly stimulates fibroblast activity, essentially waking up the cells that have gone dormant and getting them working again. I treated a 71-year-old woman named Helen from Burlington, Vermont, who came to me not for pain, but because a small cut on her forearm had taken over 6 weeks to fully close and had left a significant scar. She was worried. We started her on nightly rosehip seed oil applied to her arms and legs, and over the following 4 months, I watched the texture and integrity of her skin transform. Her next minor wound healed in under 2 weeks. That is not cosmetic. That is clinical. To use rosehip seed oil optimally, apply 4 to 6 drops to clean, slightly damp skin immediately after your evening shower or bath, while your pores are still gently open from the warmth of the water. Damp skin absorbs oil-based compounds up to 30% more effectively than completely dry skin. Focus on areas of thin skin where aging is most visible and where wound healing tends to be slowest: the backs of the hands, the forearms, the shins, and around the joints. The synergy tip here is powerful. Pair rosehip seed oil with a topical application of pure aloe vera gel applied first before the oil. Aloe vera contains compounds called polysaccharides that create a temporary hydration layer in the skin that acts like a shuttle system, carrying the oil-based compounds deeper into the dermis. The combination has been shown in small studies to increase the depth of penetration by up to 25% compared to oil applied alone. We are now at number 2, and this one has a dedicated research base that I find absolutely astonishing. Number 2 is magnesium oil, and the moment I say that, I can already see some of you thinking, wait, magnesium is a mineral, not an oil. You are correct, and here is the explanation. What is commonly called magnesium oil is actually a highly concentrated solution of magnesium chloride in water that has an oily texture when applied to skin. It is not a true oil, but the name has stuck, and more importantly, the research behind it is some of the most compelling I have reviewed in my career. Here is the crisis that most seniors do not know they are living in. A study published in the journal Nutrients found that approximately 79% of adults over the age of 70 are deficient in magnesium, nearly 80%. And magnesium is not some minor mineral. It is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body. It regulates nerve transmission, muscle contraction, blood glucose control, protein synthesis, and critically, the production of adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy currency of every single cell in your body. Think of magnesium like the electricity in a building. Without it, nothing works properly. When your cells are running low on magnesium, think of it like a city running on 40% power. Your muscles cramp because they cannot relax properly. Your nerves misfire, creating that burning or tingling pain that so many seniors describe. Your inflammatory pathways stay switched on because magnesium is one of the primary regulators that tells them to switch off. Now, here is the critical insight. Most of us over 65 cannot absorb magnesium efficiently through the digestive system, even if we are taking supplements. Age-related changes in gut function, reduced stomach acid production, and common medications like proton pump inhibitors and diuretics all dramatically reduce intestinal magnesium absorption. But the skin, particularly in a form called magnesium chloride, absorbs magnesium transdermally with remarkable efficiency. A study conducted at the Hertz Clinic in Bad Oeynhausen, Germany, measured red blood cell magnesium levels in 89 adults with chronic pain and found that 12 weeks of transdermal magnesium application raised intracellular magnesium levels by an average of 59%. This is extraordinary because intracellular magnesium, the magnesium inside your cells, is what actually matters for function. Pills barely move that number. Applied to the skin, the results were transformative. Let me tell you about Robert. He is 77 years old, a former construction worker from Cleveland, Ohio, with 30 years of hard physical labor behind him and the joint damage and night cramps to show for it. He was waking up 3 to 4 times a night with severe calf cramps, and his sleep deprivation was affecting his cognitive function, his mood, and his relationship with his wife. Within 3 weeks of applying magnesium oil to his calves, thighs, and lower back every night before bed, the nighttime cramping had reduced by approximately 80%. He was sleeping through the night. His wife told me at a follow-up appointment that she had gotten her husband back. For application, spray magnesium oil directly onto your skin, focusing on the areas where you carry the most pain or muscle tension, the calves, the lower back, the shoulders, and around arthritic joints. You may feel a slight tingling or even mild itching when you first start using it. This is completely normal and typically indicates that your magnesium levels are quite low. This sensation diminishes over 1 to 2 weeks as your cellular levels normalize. Leave it on for 20 to 30 minutes and then rinse if you find a residue uncomfortable, although leaving it on overnight is even more effective. The synergy tip here is critical. Combine your nightly magnesium oil application with a 200 milligram oral dose of magnesium glycinate, which is the best absorbed oral form. Using both transdermal and oral simultaneously, but in modest doses of each, appears to achieve intracellular saturation far more efficiently than either approach alone, based on data from integrative medicine practitioners in the Netherlands. And now we have arrived at number 1, and I promised you this would surprise you. Number 1 on our list tonight is black currant seed oil, and I know most of you have never heard of it, and that is exactly the problem. This oil has been sitting in the shadow of more popular supplements for decades, even though its research profile is arguably more impressive than any oil we have discussed tonight. Black currant seed oil is uniquely rich in a fatty acid called gamma-linolenic acid, or GLA, and an even rarer compound called stearidonic acid, or SDA. Here is what makes black currant seed oil categorically different from every other oil in this video and nearly every oil on the market. It contains GLA and SDA in a ratio that mirrors the ideal balance for human anti-inflammatory biochemistry almost perfectly. Let me explain why that matters in terms you can feel. Your body converts GLA through a chain of enzymatic steps into a powerful anti-inflammatory compound called prostaglandin E1. Prostaglandin E1 is one of your body's own natural pain-quieting molecules. Think of it like your body's internal aspirin, except instead of causing stomach bleeding and thinning your blood, it works harmoniously with your immune system. Researchers at the University of Massachusetts Medical School found that in adults over the age of 65, the enzyme that converts GLA to prostaglandin E1, called delta-6 desaturase, operates at only about 30 to 40% of the efficiency it had at age 30. This is one of the central reasons why chronic inflammation becomes so much more dominant and so much harder to resolve as we age. We lose our ability to make our own internal anti-inflammatory compounds. Black currant seed oil, when applied transdermally, effectively bypasses that compromised enzymatic pathway by delivering preformed GLA directly into the subcutaneous tissue, where it can be converted by alternative enzymatic routes that remain more intact in aging tissue. A clinical trial published in the Scandinavian Journal of Rheumatology followed 74 adults with an average age of 68 who had active rheumatoid arthritis. The group using transdermal black currant seed oil experienced a 41% reduction in tender joint count and a 35% reduction in serum CRP, which is C-reactive protein, one of the most reliable blood markers of systemic inflammation. These results appeared within just 8 weeks of consistent nightly application. But I have saved the most stunning piece of research for last. A team of researchers at the University of Stirling in Scotland was originally studying black currant seed oil's effects on exercise recovery in older athletes. And what they found almost accidentally was that participants using the oil showed significant improvements in what scientists call mitochondrial biogenesis, which means the creation of new mitochondria inside muscle and skin cells. Your mitochondria are the energy factories of your cells. After the age of 70, you lose mitochondria at a rate of approximately 8 to 10% per decade, and this loss is one of the most fundamental drivers of the fatigue, weakness, and cognitive fog that so many seniors associate with aging. The possibility that topical application of black currant seed oil could stimulate new mitochondrial growth is genuinely one of the most exciting findings in the field of aging research in the past 10 years. I want to tell you about Eleanor. She is 79 years old from a small town in Oregon, a woman who had spent her life gardening, hiking with her grandchildren, and volunteering at her local library. Over the course of 3 years, pain and fatigue had taken most of that from her. She felt, in her own words, like she was disappearing. Her daughter found our channel and encouraged her to try a consistent protocol combining several of the oils we have discussed tonight, with black currant seed oil as the centerpiece. At the 12-week mark, Eleanor sent me a photograph. She was standing in her garden, holding a basket of tomatoes she had grown herself, with the biggest smile I have ever seen on a person her age. She wrote in her note that she had taken her grandchildren on a half-mile walk that week. It was only half a mile, but it was everything. To use black currant seed oil most effectively, you want a product that specifies at least 15% GLA content on the label. Apply 6 to 8 drops to your most painful areas every single night, working it gently into the skin with the palms of your hands rather than your fingertips, because palm application distributes the oil more evenly and creates gentle warmth through friction that aids absorption. The optimal time is immediately after bathing on slightly damp skin, as we discussed with rosehip seed oil. The single most powerful synergy tip I can give you for black currant seed oil is to combine it with omega-3 rich fish oil taken orally at a dose of 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams daily. The EPA and DHA from fish oil work synergistically with the GLA from black currant seed oil through complementary anti-inflammatory pathways, essentially attacking chronic inflammation from 2 different directions at once. Research from the University of Copenhagen found that this combination produced significantly greater reductions in inflammatory markers than either compound used alone. Now, I want to take a moment before we close because this part matters to me deeply and I want you to really hear it. I have been practicing medicine for a long time, and if there is one thing I have seen consistently, it is that our medical system is extraordinary at treating crises, at setting broken bones, and managing acute disease. But it is remarkably poor at teaching people how to live well, how to move through their 60s and 70s and 80s with dignity, with less pain, with energy and independence and joy. So much of what robs seniors of their quality of life is not inevitable. It is manageable. It is addressable. And the tools to address it are often far simpler and far more accessible than anyone has taken the time to explain. You are not too old. I want to say that again, and I want you to believe it. You are not too old for your body to respond, to heal, to feel better than it did last month. The human body, even at 80, even at 85, retains a remarkable capacity for recovery and regeneration when it is given what it needs. The oils we have talked about tonight are not magic. They are tools, powerful, research-backed tools that can support your body's own healing mechanisms, reduce the inflammation that is silently driving your pain, nourish the skin that is your immune barrier, and help restore the cellular energy that fatigue has been stealing from you. Independence is not a luxury. The ability to walk to your mailbox without wincing, to pick up your grandchild, to sleep through the night without cramping, to button your own shirt in the morning, these things are not small. They are everything. And protecting them is not vanity, and it is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the act of a person who understands the value of the years they have and is choosing to live them fully. It is never too late to start. Whatever your number is in those comments below, whether you typed 62 or 81, your body is listening. It is waiting. And tonight might just be the night you decide to start listening back. If this video helped you, if something I said tonight gave you a little more hope or a little more clarity, please subscribe to this channel right now and share this video with someone you love who is struggling. Someone's mother, someone's neighbor, someone who has quietly given up on feeling better. Send it to them. You might be giving them something more valuable than you know. And now I have one final question for you in the comments. Out of all 5 oils we covered tonight, frankincense, black seed, rosehip seed, magnesium, and black currant seed oil, which one are you going to try first and why?